Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? Give me just a few moments while I get everything set up here. I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of Breaking Reality. Tonight's show is going to be a little different than most. I had Ross Hamilton scheduled tonight, but Ross had to reschedule. We was unable to do the show because he has just gotten a new computer and he doesn't have everything set up and everything with it yet. So we have rescheduled that show to March 24th at 7 p.m. Excuse me just a second. Ross will be on that evening, and we will be talking about the Serpent Mound in southern Ohio, and we will be discussing all kinds of different things in and around the Serpent Mound. But tonight, I think I'm just going to hang out and chat with you guys and just cover some different topics and stuff. Not getting into anything, real in depth like I normally do on the show. I'll cover some of my reading material that I've been going over. So if any of you are interested in what I'm doing there, I do see that one of my mods is in the stream, so if Puck would like to jump into the Discord with me, she'd be more than welcome to do so, and we can have a chat as well. But otherwise, I'm just going to hang out, and, Tanner will probably make a couple appearances during the show as well. He's running around here. Actually, I think he's laying on the couch behind me right now.
Hello.
Hi, Puck. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah, my guest had to cancel tonight because he didn't have a microphone or anything yet for his computer, and he hasn't even got it all set up yet. So,
well, that's kind of hard to do an interview if you don't have any of that.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a smartphone, so we couldn't do it through the phone. So yeah, it was one of those things. He thought he'd have this stuff before the show, and he ended up just getting the stuff yesterday. So he's still in the process of setting everything up. And like I said, he still hasn't even picked up a microphone. I was telling him stuff today to look at, and it's like, you should go look at this, and you should get this if you're looking at, web camera and stuff like that. So, but I'm just sharing the show around on some of the Discord channels right now. So as soon as I'm done with that, I will kick on the live screen.
Okie dokie. I might as well pack a bowl.
You might as well, and get you a mana boost in. Oh, I need to dig my stream deck out. It is buried under my pile of books I have on here on my desk. Because I grabbed all my books. I'm like, if I'm just gonna do a casual chatting and stuff, I might cover some of the books that I'm reading. And here, we'll give you a shout out for your stream. Oh, that feedback is horrible. It's coming from my phone. That is no bueno. We will definitely move that off to the side. But yeah, I figure, since you're in here, Puck, we can just have a conversation about different things. You can ask any questions you want and stuff. We'll discuss some different topics and just whatever, and then we can go in and cover what we got coming up in shows. Hey, Lasco, how you doing, buddy? And this is one of those shows where I'm going to be able to interact with chat more than normal because, not necessarily interviewing someone. Hey, Nugget, how you doing? Hey, I just stop on by for as long as you can. I appreciate you being here for as long or as little as you can be. I know it's late for you.
Did you have a good Valentine's Day?
I sat at the house. Actually, I got up in the morning. I went to the store, bought groceries because we got this snowstorm coming in. And then I sat around the house and spent the day with Tanner. And that was it.
Did you give him any, special food or anything?
I mean, he gets special food pretty much every day, so he's an extremely spoiled dog.
We gave our cat some wet food, just to give him a little extra Valentine's Day love.
Yeah, he's an extremely spoiled dog. Now, I saw you did some stuff for Valentine's Day with yourself.
I did, and I ruined it.
You ruined it? How did you ruin it?
I vomited up the ribs that Glenn spent all day making, that I requested specifically for Valentine's. I ruined everything. It was terrible.
No! Nogert, this is actually one of my mods, GGPuck. And actually, Puck has co-hosted with me in the past on some stuff on the show. And Puck's one of those ones that when she's around, she's always free to jump into the channels and talk and chat and be involved in the streams. So you will see Puck around or hear Puck around quite a bit. What was it that you got him for Valentine's? Was it a bunch of different beef jerkies and stuff?
Yes, all kinds of different, a sampling of all kinds of different flavors. There were some spicy ones, there were some not so spicy ones.
Okay, that's what I thought that was when I saw that. Alright, I've got everything.
I originally was going to get him, there was a bouquet of roses made of jerky, but when I went to look into buying it, it cost almost $90. And I know Glenn well enough, if I spend $90 on some fake bullshit roses. He's
made
gonna
out
be
of beef
like,
jerky. He's gonna be pissed. Oh. So, I have my world's greatest degenerate mug tonight. Man, that glare is horrible.
oh, I also played Phasmophobia with Aki.
Nice.
It was kind of stressful.
That game can get really stressful. That game can get extremely stressful. I've got it. I've played it a few times. Drunkrat actually bought it for me because he wanted me to play it with him one night on his stream, and I didn't have it. And he's like, "Well, I'm going to solve that right now." And ended up playing Phasmophobia a couple of nights with Drunkrat on his streams. And by the way, the world's greatest degenerate mug is that's one of Drunkrat's mugs that you can get from his store, which I absolutely love.
I've actually been kind of trying to get my roommate Josh and Drunkrat to like get to know each other because they both do Junkrat impersonations while they play games, and I think it would be awesome if like they teamed up and like just were doing Junkrat impersonations like at each other. You know what I mean?
Does Josh go into Drunky streams?
I don't know. I just told him about him like the other day. I was like, "Hey, you should. There's a streamer you should like."
He should look at jumping in on the Sunday afternoon streams, which is the community day streams that Drunkrat does, and you know the people that's in the stream can get to play games and stuff with him. And what are we doing this? We just done Jackbox. I can't remember what we have coming up this weekend with Drunkrat. Actually, it is Earl Grey tea, hot. You know, got to go with that whole Captain Picard thing. But it's got some really nice bergamot oils added in with it, and I put a little bit of honey in there too.
Oh my god, that reminds me. We were playing 7 Days to Die, and I got an infection, and I was like freaking out because I got an infection, and then I found honey, and I drank the honey, and it helped my infection, and I was like, oh my god, it's like real life.
Yes, it is like real life in that honey is a really good antibiotic. No Captain Kirk? Well, you never saw Kirk like ordering tea or anything. I mean, if I was Captain Kirk, I'd have to have like a green woman next to me. I mean, that was Kirk's thing.
I wouldn't
be opposed to it.
I was gonna say, you wouldn't you like be okay with that?
I would. I mean, I would not be, you know, I don't discriminate. I'm fine with that. Green woman on one side, green guy on the other side, or blue guy or purple guy, whatever, you know, I don't discriminate. But yeah, so I did want to cover some of the stuff that I'm doing, reading materials and stuff, and kind of keep topics to some of the breaking reality theme topics, because I am trying to keep, well, for the rest of February and March, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday nights are going to be breaking reality podcast style themed shows, and they're going to all be dealing with topics of the spiritual, metaphysical, and mystical. And then I'm going to be adding in every other Saturday. Starting this Saturday, I'm going to be doing some gaming streams with Summer Mouse, and I might add a couple other gaming streams in there throughout the days and stuff. I want to do something. I want to hold a book up. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have the camera flipped, because someone told me I had the camera flipped the wrong way and that everything was backwards. So I wanted to make sure that you guys could read this properly.
Yeah, it's the right way for me.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened the other day, but stuff was
just a heads up. I can only really moderate for you on Mondays right now. When you eventually switch to Tuesdays and Thursdays, yeah, I'll probably be able to moderate you more.
Okay.
But yeah, Monday's pretty much the only day I can moderate right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is perfectly fine because Summer's around and stuff a lot too, so she's able to help out. And I will be switching to Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting in April, and so it will be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays will be the stream days. And then, yeah. All right, I got my whole big little. No, not.
Nogger asked you a question about the concept of breaking reality.
The whole concept of breaking reality, when I put this podcast together, was to challenge people's perception of the world around them. So it is all about listing different ideas that aren't necessarily as mainstream, or even addressing some of the mainstream spiritual topics. Here, let me just grab my handy dandy little calendar here that I have everything down in it, and I will tell you some of the topics we have coming up. Actually, this Wednesday we're going to have Melvin Nix is going to be our guest, and we're going to be discussing what is energy, and that is actually going to be the start of a series that I'm going to be doing with Melvin. And we're going to be going into talking about chakras and into Reiki as well. And I assume since we're going to be talking about chakras and energy, we'll be talking about Kundalini energy as well, because it ties in with all of it. And you saw the book that I held up there just a few minutes ago was called Awakening Kundalini, which is on my reading list. I actually haven't started reading it, but I do have a great little book on chakras if you guys are actually interested in books on chakras. This one here is just a great little beginner's guide on chakras. And it's the way it's laid out is it's just, the 28th thing that you need to know, the 29th thing that you need to know, and they're short little paragraphs. The longest ones I've seen have been like a page or two long. And so...
See, the question I would have on that one, for that guest, is I've heard about you doing Reiki, like, from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, over the phone, or, like... Because, like, some people started doing that during the pandemic. Like, one of my friends started doing it, and I'm just a little curious, like, how it works from a distance. Because I get... when you're, like, close up, like, having your hand over the person, like, I could see how that, like... Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I think it goes the same for doing, like, readings and stuff with, like, oracle cards and stuff like that, doing them over the internet and from a distance. And I think it's just a matter of the person trying to make sure they tie into the other person's energy. I mean... It's one thing when you know a person to be able to sense their energy and feel their energy from a distance. So that would be a guess or a good question to bring up with Melvin. Actually, send that over to me in Discord just so I can remember that. Just like DM me in Discord.
Okay.
So I can remember that question and make sure to ask that on to ask that on Wednesday, and I'll make sure to ask it. Well, I mean, the thing is, when you start looking at chi energy and chakras and energy in general and stuff, a lot of it is the same concepts that they're just approached in different cultures. I've done lots of martial arts, and a lot of kung fu, where you work with your chi energies, and the chakras are down your center line. And when you're working with chi energy, you work them down you work your energy from that center line as well, and that's where the energy flows. And also, when you get into talking about the Kundalini energies, it's a way that you move your energies up through your chakras. And if you've ever seen any pictures of the chakras where you see the 7 chakras and then you see 2 snakes intertwined moving up between them. The snakes actually represent the Kundalini energies and how they move up. And one snake represents the masculine energies in you, and the other one represents the feminine energies. So, but some of the other topics we have coming up is healing from addiction through spirituality. Another one is personal transformation through spirituality. Puck on Monday, March 1st. I know this is a show that you have been waiting for.
Yes.
We're going to have Mary Guzman on, who is a death doula, and we're going to be discussing death and dying.
Yes, I am very interested in the topic of death. I'm a little bit of a weirdo.
I don't think so. I honestly don't, because I think that's a topic that it does come off as being taboo in a lot of in like modern day society to talk about death and dying, but it's a topic that we need to address and talk about. On the 3rd, I am going to have a guest on. Miss Judy will be on with us, and we're going to talk about spiritual cleansings. I'm going to have another guest. We're going to be talking about the inner child and doing work on healing the inner child and stuff, which will be a really interesting topic to go into. Got another guest that's going to be talking about the Great Awakening. Another one that will be discussing medicine wheels. Another guest will be talking about frequency and vibrations and healing, how those work with your body for healing. And then we're going to have Ross Hamilton back on, who's going to be talking about the Serpent Mound. And then we'll definitely have Demian on a couple days in March as well, to continue our series on the universal spiritual laws. And the next one that we're going to be covering is... my book. I know it's the law of attraction is one of them on there, and then I can't remember which law is after the law of attraction. I think it might be the law of receiving. Makes sense.
It says law of receiving on your Discord.
Yeah, law of receiving is the next one. Oh man. My nose is all runny, and I think I'm starting to get a slight cold from being outside way too much today.
Oh no!
I was just
Speaking of energy, healing energy.
and most definitely.
Oh my god! Speaking of energy and like manifesting stuff and the law of attraction and all that shit. So Tiffany had a huge stream today, and she rated this dude who was like waiting to be trying to get a partner, and he told everyone in the chat like, "I need your energy. Like, let's do like a spirit bomb. I need your energy so I can become partner. Come on, let's do this. Let's just think really hard. Come on, everybody, just give me your energy or whatever." And then he fucking got the check mark. He refreshed it, and he got the check mark, and he became partner. Isn't that amazing?
They're making you partner that quick now?
Well, like he had applied for it beforehand. Okay. Like it wasn't like out of nowhere, but he was like talking about. He's like, "Come on, I want to be partner. Let's do this, guys. Come on, chat. Let's all just think about whatever." And then it fucking happened.
That is awesome. That is most definitely awesome. I didn't even see that she was streaming. What time did she stream today?
Apparently she started like a little before 10 today. I didn't get in there until like after 11.
I was in Talia's stream today. That's probably why I didn't see it. I was on Talia's stream and working on trying to get other people coming in, working on booking guests and stuff. Now, something I am going to be doing in the future, and this will probably mainly be on the Friday night shows and the gaming streams, because it's something I really can't do in the Monday and Wednesday or the Tuesday, Thursday shows when I switch over to those where I'm interviewing someone. But I am going to start doing Oracle card readings. And this is the current Oracle card set that I have. I might end up picking up some more. And then I'm eventually going to start doing some rune casting. So those are a couple things that I'm going to be doing. And actually, I was talking with Miss Judy, and we was discussing this, and she told me, she goes, I think that you're really meant to start doing that, and it's a path that she is encouraging me to go down and follow. And so she actually bought me a second webcam that I can use to put on the desk.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and I got the webcam, and it's a super nice little webcam. Let me reach down here and grab it. But I need to get a mount for it, and I'm going to order the mount at the beginning of March. But she bought me this nice little webcam, and it's a 1080p high autofocus, and so it should do a great job on being able to focus in on the cards and the runes and stuff. So that's something I'm going to end up doing, and I think, how do I remember all the books mixed together? Well, most of them are on different topics, and I've always been one of those people that could read, 4 or 5 books at the same time, all on different topics and subjects, and keep them separate. I mean, it's like being in school. I mean, you have different textbooks for each class.
See, well, this is how because I'm like that too. It's like when people ask me, like, how can you keep different books like straight? And I'm like, well, you watch different TV shows, right?
Absolutely.
And you know the difference between the TV shows you watch. Why wouldn't it be different with books?
Absolutely. There's a link to Miss Judy, her website. She actually does like tarot card readings and oracle readings and stuff like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, they have different prices that they actually charge money for doing it. They are definitely more professional. She's got a team that works with her. Actually, one of the ladies that works with her had a video today on Facebook where she was showing off all of her different decks that she has. And so, depending on the person, she goes to what deck she thinks will work best with that person. So, but yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, you watch different TV shows and you can keep those straight and stuff. Like, here, let me just take you down the list of what I have right here that I'm going through. This book right here, I've had this book for a long time. Absolutely love this book. It's called Riverwalk by Jason Ravenheart Stone. And on the back it says inspirational healing relationships, transformation, validation, relationships, and life. And this book is actually not in print and is extremely, extremely hard to find. There was one copy on Amazon that I found in January, and I went to order it at the beginning of this month, and it was gone. And that was the only one that I could find. But it's just got it's like got some poems and just some little different things in here. And actually, I would like to read you guys a little snippet out of this book. This is actually one of my favorite things in this whole book. I've actually shared this with a lot of people. And, we just had Valentine's Day and stuff, so there's maybe some people out there dealing with some heartache and stuff. I heard, there was a few people that had breakups and stuff around the holiday and everything. Or you might even be dealing with a breakup or something from another issue or whatnot. Who knows? But this is called How to Hold an Injured Heart. It says, who would have ever thought in our society of the disposable mentality, a treasure as delicate and sacred as a heart could be taken so lightly? Given with so much trust, compassion, and openness, only to be discarded as if it were nothing, left out in the cold, alone and abandoned. Once recovered, it must be brought back to health very slowly, for it has lost its ability to trust, to feel. If one looks closely, a tear can be seen. In time, this may heal, however, a scar will always remain. If the owner of this injured heart allows you to touch it, hold it very gently in the palm of your hands, close to your own, so that it may hear the beating of another. Gently caress it with your fingertips. Love it, make it feel safe. When it has been warmed and its glow is returning, hand it back to its owner. Hand to the other person your own heart. Notice the feeling of love as you experience having no heart, while another close to you has two. The injured heart of the other is now healing, regaining its strength. The love it possesses was never lost, just not taken seriously. Beware who you give your heart to. Observe how they hold their own. Are they takers or givers? Give only to a giver, one without an agenda, only unconditional love. Jason Ravenheart Stone, 1994. It's honestly one of my favorite little snippets out of this book, but everything in this book is amazing. So if you can actually end up finding a copy of this book, I suggest picking it up. I've given away several copies of it, and I'm lucky to actually have held on to one. You can't always remember everything from TV shows, so as well, so books is the next step. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, that's just the way that I am, with the way my mind works and stuff. This one here is a really good one, too. This one has been suggested to me by several different women that I know who have read this, and it's called Women Who Run with the Wolves, Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype. And it's short stories about just different, just kind of the kind of women who wouldn't be put down or put in their place. The ones that knew their value and said, hey, you're going to respect me no matter what. But these are a little longer. Some of them are 3, 4, 5, 6 pages long. Some of them, 10, 15, 20 page long. And they're all individual little stories about different things on that topic. This is one I haven't read yet. I don't think this will take too long to get through. But it's called Shit the Moon Said, A Story of Sex, Drugs, and Ayahuasca.
That is an amazing title.
I know. Have you ever heard of the Rhythmia Life Advanced Center?
No.
It's in Costa Rica, and this book is by the founder of it. And it's a place where you go for like life coaching and stuff, but they also do like ayahuasca ceremonies and stuff like that there as well. But yeah, when I saw this title, I'm like, I have got to pick that up and read that. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a quick read. I mean, there's not a whole lot per page. So it's going to be a really quick read. And then, of course...
Well, you gotta tell us about how that one goes.
I will. That's one I may actually start reading this week, since I'm not going to be going out anywhere, and because we're probably going to be snowed in for at least the next couple of days. But yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be a really good one. Now, on the Discord, if you go to the Discord, and for, I think, pretty much everyone in here right now is in the Discord, but if you are not, feel free to join the Discord. Right there is the link for the Discord. I am going to be putting up, and there's a section in the Discord called Breaking Reality, and underneath there I have a section for books and reading material, and I'll be posting up information on the different books that I'm reading and what I thought about them, and just like write a small little review and stuff over the book. So that will be there as well. This is one that I picked up at an All Nations gathering back in like 2016 or 2017, and I just haven't read it. And it's about the medicine wheel and earth astrology. And it's an older book, but it looks really interesting, and I just haven't started reading it, but it's in my list to start going through. These next two books are actually part of a series of books, or I wouldn't say series, so much, but it kind of is. There's this group of books that's called Pagan Portals, and this one here is really good. It's about Brigitte, depending on how you pronounce it.
Brigitte?
Not Brigitte.
Aww.
we're not going into Overwatch. But this is about the Celtic goddess of poetry, forge, and healing. She is the goddess of she's known as the goddess of the hearth. She's one of the trifold goddesses. If you're interested in learning about her, this is honestly a very, very good this is a very good starting point book for it. I sat down and went through this book in like 2 days. It's a really quick read. I haven't got into this one yet. It's in the same series. It's called The A1 Alone. It's the Walking the Path of the Solitary Druid.
Noggert has asked you another question, by the way.
Okay, I will check that out here in just a second. Let's see. If you read a book like 4 years ago, can you still remember it in detail if you see the cover of the book now? There's books that I read and I don't even need to see. One of let me go to this point. When I started my spiritual path, it actually started from, or I should say my spiritual path as it is now. It started when I was 15 years old, and I was raised in a Christian household, and so, I had the Bible, and, read the Bible, and if you believed anything other than the Christian scriptures, you was evil. In my household, and in the social group that my family was in. That didn't sit right with me. I felt there was a lot more to what they was saying and what they was teaching. And I was working at a campgrounds as a junior counselor, and one of the guys out there handed me a copy of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Ooh, I've heard of that book.
It's a decent book, but it has very little to do with Zen and not a whole hell of a lot to do with motorcycle maintenance.
Isn't it just like a really funny book?
It's got some funny points and stuff through it. It basically follows this guy's journey as he's traveling cross country on a motorcycle, and just it gets into some of his like self-reflections and stuff. And it was just enough of a touch on some metaphysics and spirituality to make me start searching and seeking other books on the topic. And the next book that I picked up was, and still is, one of my favorite books of all time, is Jonathan Livingston's Seagull by Richard Bach. The book is probably one of the best books to pick up for an introduction book into metaphysics. And it covers, the story is written from the perspective of a seagull named Jonathan Livingston. And this seagull is not happy or content with the way the other gulls live. Not so much the other gulls, but just the way that they say that they have to live. You fly out, you dive down, you catch a fish out of the water, or you find food on the pier, and then you fly back. At the end of the day, you land on the shore, you sleep, you get up, you do it all over again. Jonathan believed that there was more to existence than that. And so he started pushing himself. He started flying different than the other birds, trying to fly faster, trying to fly higher, pushing himself to see what the true extent of everything that he could come into contact with was. And it gets to a point where he reaches a point where he transcends from one level up to another level, and he finds out that there are other gulls that have transcended to this point as well. And it continues on through this path of transcendence. And it's a really, really great book. I don't want to go too deep into it. It's not a very long book. It's something that you can easily sit down and read in a day for most people. It's only like 98 to 100 pages or something like that. and it's a really quick read. It's not real fine print and stuff, but it's an absolutely great book, and that book really set me along my path of diving into metaphysics. Next book in the pile is, of course, Rune Lore. And this just talks about the Nordic runes.
Which is what Aki's going to talk about. Or one of the things Aki's going to talk about when he's eventually on the show.
Nice.
Oh, actually, can we talk about that for 2 seconds?
Yes, and speaking of such, here are my runes.
Ooh, I can't wait to see them.
Well, they're in the bag.
Oh, I can't wait to see them.
I'll get them out. Give me a second, I'll open them up.
We were wondering if for Aki's episode I could maybe be on the show too.
Oh, absolutely. I thought I'd already said that to you.
Oh, did you? Oh,
I thought I'd mentioned. If not, I meant to.
Okay, because I know how to get him talking.
Just gotta keep him on the right subjects.
Yes.
So, these runes I have had for a long time. These are a red jasper agate. Oh, yes.
Okay, now I know that some people believe that the runes don't work as well if they're bought runes versus if you make your own runes.
It's back and forth. This was a bot set, but I bought these from a witch that made these herself.
Okay, well that could maybe. I mean, if they were hand.
Yeah,
I guess we'll have to ask. We'll ask Aki. Never mind. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I mean, she hand carved the symbol. She got the stones, and then she hand carved the symbols into each one, and then painted them, and then went through the whole process of charging them and activating them and stuff. And when I got married when I was 30 years old, and I ended up walking away from my spiritual path for a while because my wife was adamantly against it at the time. She was a Jehovah's Witness when we got married, and she knew she was hooking up with a crazy pagan. And she said that she didn't want the runes in the house, she didn't want the tarot cards in the house, she didn't want the oracle decks in the house. And I got rid of most of the stuff, but the runes the set of runes I gave to my oldest sister because she was into the same kind of stuff, and I gave them to her, and I said, these are really, really nice set of runes. I don't want these going to just anyone, and I want someone who's going to appreciate them. And she took them and put them in a drawer in her house and held them. I kept them there, and she told me when I moved back to Ohio from California after I had split up with my ex, she said, these runes have literally been calling for you. She goes, I can hear their energy and spirit calling for you ever since you came back to Ohio. They're ready to return back to you. And she walked up and handed it to me, and she goes, take them because they won't shut up. And so she basically became a caretaker for him and took care of him for me until they were able to come back into my care. And I carry them with me pretty much everywhere I go. They're most of the time they're in my pocket.
Cool.
Yeah, so the next book that I've got, and this one's a great book. I've been reading this one. This is the one I've currently been reading. Is The Sacred Prostitute, The Eternal Aspect of the Feminine, by Nancy Qualls Corbett. And it's actually written from a Jungian analysis. So she takes it from the viewpoint of the psychologist Carl Jung, or some people will say Jung.
I know of him.
Yeah, and like a partial list of the contents that it talks about in here is, like the sacred marriage rituals, the sacred prostitute and feminine psychology. It talks about the split feminine of Mary Magdalene and the Virgin Mary, and the Black Madonna, the restoration of the soul. But it really goes into talking about the divine feminine energies, and it touches a lot on goddess worship. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a goddess worshiper. So yeah, this book is right up my alley.
Wait a minute, when's your birthday again?
August 3rd. I'm
okay,
a Leo.
Never mind.
Why?
There's a Pisces stereotype about Pisces putting women on pedestals. I was gonna be like, oh my god.
And then, of course, the Awakening Kundalini book. And the Kundalini energies, it's like, you heard me touching on them earlier and stuff, and this just goes deeper into talking about the Kundalini energies and the whole process and stuff with them. And the Kundalini energies are often tied in a lot to yoga and stuff. Well, Nagar, what do you want to know? Because goddess worship is a very broad range and broad area. Like you saw earlier, I had a book on Bridget, the Celtic goddess. There's a lot of goddesses out there, and a lot of people will choose in their spiritual path, they'll choose one of the goddesses or a god as their patron deity.
Well, and then there's also the goddess.
Are you referring to Gaia, as in the Earth Mother?
The one with those neat statues that they found in caves so many years ago.
Oh yes, hold on a second. Yes, those are just and those are different representations of the goddess figure and stuff. Let me see. Here is
the goddess figure has been used in art for a very long time. A mad long time.
Right there is different drawings of some of the different goddess statues they have found throughout the years. But I know the one that you're specifically talking about. No. This is Astarte. She's the goddess of love. That's actually a more complex one than a lot of them.
That's closer to what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Though she has a nice face. Most of the old ones don't have faces anymore.
Yeah. Well, some of them they didn't even carve faces on. I know there's some pictures of it in here because I've seen them. Let me just see if I can find it. Is goddess worship like worshiping their work or their body or their stories, I think. It's more about being in tune to recognizing the energies and stuff of such. But I mean, it does go into a lot of goddess worship will go into certain aspects of sexuality. It will go into worshiping the body. But it's really more the spirit and the energy that you're focused in on. And it's really about the divine, what they call the divine feminine. And a lot of it goes back to the practices of the temples of the goddesses. Like this book's called The Sacred Prostitute, and you hear them talk about the sacred prostitute, or they'll call them the temple prostitute or the temple whore. And what that was these were women who worked within temples, and they would use their energy and sexual energies in such a way to help promote healing in people. And yes, at times it actually did involve them having sex with people. and people would pay them for their services for going to the temples, and that was to support the temple and the people that did the work within the temple. And that was a very, very... Some of these pictures in this book I probably cannot show on Twitch because of TOS.
But yeah, I was gonna say, as far as like the whole goddess thing, like when I don't have an altar right now, unfortunately. But
these are probably the ones you're talking about, right, Puck?
Oh wait, let me see. Sorry, I have to wait a minute for your stream to catch up.
Yeah.
But when oh yeah, there's the classic. That's the classic one.
This one right here is the really classic one.
Big boobies.
Yeah, big body, the really, really voluptuous figure. And that's the one on the left. Well, the one is the Venus of Willendorf, and the other one is the Venus of Minton.
But yeah, when I had an altar, one of the things of the altar is, you're supposed to have some feminine energy and some masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick a goddess that you identify with or whatever, and you light a candle, and you have some stuff around the candle representing that goddess. And then I usually had what was the horned man for my.
Was Ceranos, or which one?
He was sometimes called the hunter. Usually his color is green.
I know who you're talking about. Man, I want to say it's Cineros, Cineros, and there's a couple other names for some of them too.
Yeah, I'm bad. It's been years since I've done a proper altar anyway.
Well, and especially if you're talking about the Celtic version, because in the Celtic pantheon, there's like 33 main gods and goddesses, and then like I think at last count that they had found was like 333 like gods and goddesses in total that they had found out from like this tribe had certain gods and goddesses, and this one had certain ones that they worshipped, and then this region they had others that they worshipped. And you got to understand that the Celtic nations weren't just Ireland and Scotland and Wales. They actually covered a lot of Europe as well, especially up and through the Germanic regions, and they actually, ended up bordering right up against the Roman empires quite a bit too.
That's cool.
So what was the goddess that you had? You said the god. The god.
Well, actually, this might sound. It's changed over the years. It used to be I would just do the goddess, generic.
Right.
But I actually worship now. I follow like the Dios de los Muertos.
Okay.
So Santa Muerte is my female deity. Even though she's not really a deity, she's a. But anyway,
she's considered a saint, isn't she?
Yes, a lesser saint. She's not she's not officially. Yeah, but I worship her mostly.
If you haven't looked into it, let me suggest a Celtic goddess for you to look into. Especially with your connection to death that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Look into Morgan or Morgaine.
Morgan.
Yeah, she's known as the Raven Goddess.
I like ravens.
She is the Celtic goddess that really deals with death. How do you know what is right to worship? Honestly, it's just a personal connection. As far as for me, when it comes to like a goddess that I pray to, I usually pray to Gaia or Earth Mother. All right, Lasco, have a good night, buddy. Talk to you later. It's great to have you drop in, brother. Hope you're doing well. But me personally, it's Gaia, who is known as the spirit of the earth and also referred to as the Earth Mother, is the main goddess that I will call out to and stuff. But I also I have mad respect for most of the goddess figures. So when you talk about the Nordic gods and goddesses, Freya would be who you would look to. And the Celtic beliefs, it could be Bridget, it could be Morgan, it could be it's not Danu, that's the male. It's Dana, I think, is the female one. And she is what they call a triple deity aspect as well. What? Okay, hold on. What is my view on solipsism? And what do I use to support that view? Let's see. I feel something for goddess feet worship, but don't know if that's something right to do. I think you need to worship more than just the feet if you're going to go into goddess worship. Give me just a second there, 10th of Vishnu, and I will answer your question as well. I just, since I saw another question on the goddess worship, I want to stick with that. To your question, the 10th of Vishnu, as far as that concept of the self being all that can be known to exist, I think part of that goes into the whole concept of and I touched on this some with Demian and also with Michael Bai last week. We touched in on the idea and the concept of where you talk about as far as in creation we create our own world around us, that our consciousness actually creates our world. So everything we see, everything we perceive, everything that is part of our consciousness, and together universally in a universal consciousness we create everything that is in the world, and that includes each and every one of us that's in existence, and that creates a universal consciousness and a universal mind that creates all of reality. So from that standpoint, it would be that everything that is part of us, because we were actually involved in the creation of it. Now, if you want to go into the whole ideas and concepts of we're created in the image of a creator, in Judeo-Christian scriptures it said, we were created in the image of God. So in that standpoint, we are created, to be like God. And then if you go into the further into the scriptures where Christ is talking, he says, you will go on to do even greater miracles than I have. And when Christ was speaking at this point in time, he already said that he was the Son of God, and that the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit were all one, yet they were also separate, but they were all one being, all one. They were the sacred Trinity, but yet they were separate aspects of it. So if Christ is saying that you can go on to do even greater works and greater miracles than what I have done, then to me that would say that we are given the same powers of working creation and miracles and such, and it's just a matter of us realizing that divinity that is within us and working as such, which means that going back to your question, we are creators. Each individual is a creator in and of themselves. And so you help create your own reality, and and so in creating your own reality, and then universally creating the reality with everyone around you. Does that answer your question? Noggert, I believe mathematics is the language of the universe, and that goes back into the whole belief of frequencies and vibrations, and mathematical equations and stuff. Mathematics, almost every kind of creation can be broken down into a mathematical language, and everything works in frequencies and vibrations. And Nikola Tesla had one of the greatest quotes ever on that. He said, if you want to understand the keys to the universe, think of everything in frequencies and vibrations. Absolutely. I would love to see what you got to say, Vishnu. Do you have any input on those subjects, Puck?
Well, on the topic of math being like the language of everything, I mean, I think the easiest way to see it to someone who doesn't see it is what is it? Hold on, let me look it up. The Da Vinci spiral.
Okay, you're talking about the golden ratios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a very, because you can like put that the Da Vinci spiral almost any piece of art, any thing, any piece of architecture, any like you could just put it over almost anything, and it like breaks it down almost like perfectly.
Yep.
And I don't know, that's really neat.
How to differentiate everything from each other, as for example, everything would be mathematical. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking there, Nogger, but honestly, the easiest way, I think I have an idea of what you're saying, and probably the easiest way to do it would be think of, okay, computer language is mathematics, binary code, it's mathematics. And depending on how that code is written, and binary code is very simple. It is, but it isn't. There's only 2 letters or numbers in binary code, and that is zeros and ones. And what order those are put into creates that language, which is read by a computer and translated into a program. And so if everything is mathematical, looking at it through that kind of aspect of how binary code works is a good way of showing how, here's a mathematical language that can create all kinds of different things. And it's just a matter of how those mathematics are put together. Okay, excellent. I was able to answer your question. I wasn't 100% sure what you meant, but I thought I did. So I was going to take a stab at it and see.
Well, also the thing with math is, I mean, it's one of those things like it works differently for different people's brains.
Yeah, I mean,
so like,
I'm not one to do algebra. I hate algebra. I understand it, I can do it, but I absolutely hate it.
Mm-hmm. I was pretty good at geometry.
Oh, yeah, I love geometry, but things like calculus and algebra and some of those mathematic fields and stuff, I did not enjoy them at all. No, Noggert, no. Goddess worship is not worshiping people online that call themselves goddesses. Not at all. Now, there is the aspect of people who embrace the goddess energies.
And
Huh? What?
well, and I was gonna say, and there's also that whole theory that that you should treat everyone as if they were a god or goddess of their own world. Give everyone the respect of.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should definitely always be giving people respect and stuff, but I mean, even so, you do have individuals who are more so tied into the goddess energies, and that's because they have learned how to focus in on that the divine aspect of those energies. I'm trying to get a couple people to come on that a couple friends of mine who are really big into this as well, to do a discussion about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. They're a couple, and I think they're really great examples of this. She's actually an ordained minister in the branch of the Native American church that I'm in. She's also a witch and a priestess. She does a lot of different she does a lot of different work with a lot of different things. And I very much in her see, sense, and feel those goddess energies. Whereas in some other people, I don't necessarily sense those goddess energies. And it's because she works on trying to embrace and channel that divine aspect of it. And that's not trying to say that she thinks she's a goddess or, she thinks anything special. Those energies are the ones that really tap into the aspects of what the feminine and with the masculine energies as well as what they should embrace and stuff. And you hear about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. The divine aspects are the polar opposite of those.
When I was a kid,
which wasn't very long ago.
I am old, sir.
Not as old as I am, Buck.
I know. I had a neighbor. I was friends with a girl in the neighborhood, and her mom was super into Wicca, like hardcore. And her apartment just reeked of that energy that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There was just something about the way the curtains were, and like her herbs and all of her ingredients and stuff were in her cabinet displayed, and just like the incense, and just like just something about.
Well, that energy would have emanated from herself, but it would have been.
It totally did, but there was something about her, like her apartment, that just oozed. It just. You could just feel it.
It will get to that point that if you embrace those energies will reside in your living domain and in the areas that you are in. Have you ever walked into someone's house who is a really negative person, and as soon as you walk into their house, whether they're there or not, you can just feel that negativity just kind of hit you like a wall?
Yes, an example popped into my head the second you fucking said it, and I was nodding my head furiously even though you can't see
me. But yeah, I mean, it's wherever you reside, the energy that you have and that you channel is going to end up residing in that same area as well. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense that her home felt like that because, that's how she was. So her home felt like that. Nugget, I mean, we talked a little bit about that today and with some of the stuff that we was talking about. As far as, respect and what needs to be done for, people respecting you and you respecting others. And if I know what Puck was saying. She wasn't saying, if someone disrespects you to still treat them like a god or goddess. What she was saying is that there is a concept and a belief that each and every one of us is a god or a goddess of our own world, and that we should act and treat not only ourselves but others as such. And with that, I do want to make the comment that the duality of the energies, each and every one of us has a feminine energy and a masculine energy within us. And, it's a big part of, different spiritual paths deal with bringing those energies into balance together. And in Asian cultures and stuff, you see the yin yang. And that is actually what the yin yang represents, is the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine. And they intertwine together. And in order to be whole, you have to have both and in a balance.
Which is why in some cultures, genderqueer people or two-spirit people are considered higher up the spiritual ladder.
Yeah, a lot of times in a lot of the Native American cultures, they call, like you said, the genderqueer people, or like people who identify like as bisexual and stuff like that, are often considered to be what they will call two spirits. And that means that they have come to the point to where they really embrace and represent both the masculine and the feminine at the same time. That they can't separate or differentiate the two together, because it's just who they are. It's just, that's part of the aspect.
Which is another thing I am super fascinated by the way.
What do you mean? Just the whole bringing those energies into union together and into that aspect, or what
Well, I mean, as a genderqueer person, the idea of like finding a balance between the genders or having no gender at all, you know what I mean? Just finding that it's almost like a weird gender nirvana, if that makes sense.
Right. It does, and it's coming into a balance of being able to represent both of them simultaneously in ways that they're both done respectful. Like, I knew a guy who, he was very masculine in a lot of his ways, but he dressed very feminine, and often wore female clothing. And it was his way of showing that feminine energy aspect on an outer level, so that people could recognize it and stuff. And it was he was really showing his balance with it. You could tell, you could sense and see the masculine energy in him as well, but you could also see the feminine energy. I mean, they were both there.
See, I love that. I love when, like, a dude looks just like, is like stereotypically masculine, like, has a beard, maybe he's kind of buff, maybe they got some tattoos or whatever, but then they turn around and they'll put like flowers in their hair and like paint their nails, or like, do these little things that I'm just like, I fucking love it. It makes me so happy.
I haven't painted them in a while, but yes, I have some nail polish. And I've actually thought about start doing eye makeup.
Aww.
Oh, I see some of the most awesome eye makeup, and I'm like, I'm on camera all the time. It'd be really cool to do eye makeup, but then, my glasses hide it with the stupid glare so much too. And if I take the glasses off, I'm so blind I can't read chat. So I really need to get contacts or get LASIK.
You can always do, well, speaking of feminine energy, you can do what some women do is they
I'd have
they get
to be like this the whole time.
I was gonna say some women, they get all dolled up. They literally just do a little photo shoot session, and then that's it. Like that's all. Like they don't go out. They don't.
Right.
Just.
Right. Oh, I see that in a lot of the Facebook groups and stuff that I belong to. They'd be like, I wasn't going to go and do anything. And especially with lockdown, with COVID and stuff, a lot of the people are like, I just decided I wanted to do a little shoot and I wanted to look nice and I wanted to do my makeup and everything and do a little photo shoot. And it's something I wanted to do. At one point in time out in California, there was a couple of times, I got a hold of some skirts that I liked, and I wore skirts while I was out there. I didn't care. If someone wanted to say something to me, I'm 6'7". Go ahead and say what you want. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're not going to scare me. You're not going to intimidate me. So be it. And I've always had a big bushy beard for several years. Well, when I was in California, I kept it more short cropped, but I had a beard out there too. But I mean, if you look back through history and stuff, seeing guys wearing skirts or wearing makeup and stuff was more common. It is only when Puritan law and stuff came in and Puritan said, well, a man's got to look like a man and a woman's got to look like a woman, and men are meant to wear pants and women are meant to wear dresses and women wear makeup and jewelry and men don't. Is where a lot of that came from, where you see a lot of that in society and how people judge that and stuff. That started from Puritan laws. How to be less distracted and more decisive. Mindfulness and meditation. I mean, I really can't go. Mindfulness is being present in the here and the now. And meditation is just a great practice to get into.
So yeah, I was gonna say lists. I find making lists very helpful.
I mean, mindfulness is living in the moment right now. It's not living in the past. It's not living in the future. It's being aware of yourself and your present and your surroundings. And not what happened 30 seconds ago or what's going to happen 30 seconds from now or what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. And when you do that, you will be more decisive and you will be less distracted because you'll be aware. You're living in a state of awareness of what's going on.
Isn't it called grounding? When you're like trying to get yourself back to like the now or whatever.
I mean,
you put your feet firmly on the ground and you like feel the ground under your feet.
Well,
and then you
that's...
kind of go up. You kind of go up your legs, and then you go up your.
That is one way to do that. Very much a way of doing it, and there's a belief in a practice called earthing, where you actually go out barefooted and stand on the grass or the dirt, and you do that, and you pull the energies from the earth up through your body, and you let it flow up through you, and then back down into the earth, and it's just creating an energetic field that flows through you from the earth and then back in. And talking about mindfulness, I am mindfully aware that this little guy just came up and said hi to me.
Puppy.
Yeah, but this is Tanner, guys, for those of you who do not know him. Yes, hi, buddy.
Tanner.
Tanner. Tanner. Tanner. As in, he is the color tan.
He's so cute. He is a precious boy.
Not Tanner. 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 Oh yeah, he is such a sweet little guy. Him chewing on my beard is how he gives me kisses because I have a fuzzy face and he doesn't want to lick my face, so he chews my beard. Yep, there you go, Tanner. But yeah, Tanner is actually my companion animal and therapy animal. I've had him for a long time. And in spiritual terms, he would be known as a familiar. Kind of like, I assume, Char is your familiar?
I mean, he gravitates more towards Glenn.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Like, I'll open the door to the office, and he just books it straight to Glenn. Doesn't even, like, say hi to me. Just...
So he's Glenn's familiar.
Well, we also joke that Glenn is a necromancer. He has a way with cats. Cats just like him. He's very calm and quiet, and
I can see that. I can definitely see that from, I don't have a whole lot of interactions with Glenn. But what I have had, I can definitely see that. Tanner's also an amazing ceremonial dog. When I do ceremonies, he's always there with me. And when I do ayahuasca ceremonies and such, he stays by my side throughout the ceremony. If I call to him for one reason or another, he's always there. I have a really deep spiritual connection with Tanner as well. Yes, I'm pretty sure everyone can hear you chewing on your paws, buddy.
delicious. Tasty paws.
Oh, he grooms incessantly, like constantly. He's always grooming. And actually, one of my channel points is howling with Tanner. One of the channel points.
I was tempted to redeem it.
If you want to redeem it, I'll do it since he's up here.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on.
I don't do it on the interview shows. I disable it because I don't want to, tell someone in the middle of an interview, "Hey, I gotta stop so I can howl with my dog." Hey, TT, you ready to howl? Oh yeah, you excited? You ready to howl? You ready to howl, little boy? You ready? Ow! Really? Come on. Ow! Ow!
Oh, so cute.
You can't hardly see him because he's got his back to you. Ow! Well, that was silly. Huh. You're a good boy. Good boy, T. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. Oh, yeah. Good boy.
I love it so much.
Oh, yeah. He is a great dog. Ayahuasca, what is that like? Oh man, ayahuasca is well, I guess one of the ways is to start off is asking if you have any experience with any psychedelics whatsoever. Because if you have an experience with psychedelics, you can think of things like LSD and psilocybin, like they're here, Then you have stuff like peyote and San Pedro, the cactuses. And then like way up here is ayahuasca. Well, you got DMT, which is like right here. And then ayahuasca is way up there because ayahuasca is a combination of DMT mixed with an MAOI, which the MAOI enhances the effects of the DMT and makes it stronger and last longer. And it's ayahuasca is an ancient Peruvian shamanic tea, and it is extremely bitter. I'm a member of the ONAC, which is the Oklahoma Native American Church. If you go back, I've got some episodes on my YouTube channel. I never did set that up. Hold on a second, let me grab the links to that. And I done an interview with James Flaming Eagle Mooney, who is the co-founder of the Oklahoma Native American Church. And with James, we discussed, some different things, and it's well, I mean, yes, anyone can use it, but if you're not prepared for it, it will blow your mind. I wouldn't go into using ayahuasca lightly. And it's definitely not something you use as a recreational type ordeal. When you take ayahuasca, like, first off, I said it's extremely bitter tasting. It is, I'd have to say, one of the more horrible things that I have ever consumed as far as the taste of it. After you take it, about 30 to 40 minutes after you consume it, when it starts to kick in, you end up going through a purge phase where purging could be anything from going to the bathroom and urinating or having a bowel movement, vomiting, laughing, crying, yawning. These are all different forms of purges that people can go through when they use ayahuasca. Actually, I don't know if he is still here. I see him lurking. But Pyromorpheus, another one of the mods, he was a roommate of mine for a long time when I started using ayahuasca, and Pyro has seen me use it. He's never used it himself, but he's watched me go through it, and so he knows. He knows what I'm doing when I'm using it and stuff. He sees the external aspects and stuff of it. But when you get ready to use it, you really need to prepare yourself and set an intention. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about when they use psychedelics, especially for spiritual reasons, set and setting are very important. So it's a matter of setting, of course, is, making sure that you're in a safe place where you can do it. You're not going to be disturbed. That things are in a way that you want to be able to handle them. Set refers to your mindset. So making sure that you're in a proper frame of mind to be working with these and to use them. Ayahuasca is not something that anyone should go into lightly. The MAOI aspect of it, if you're on certain medications, they can have severe interactions that can be very detrimental, can cause some severe illness, even up to and including death. But that is with any MAOI. There's MAOIs that are used in the medical field. And if you take certain prescription drugs with an MAOI drug that's, issued out from a pharmacist, it can kill you. And it goes the same way with MAOIs that you get in nature and stuff from, like the plants that we use when we brew ayahuasca. I know Buck's heard stories and stuff about me talking about my ayahuasca use.
I have, but I have been told that I shouldn't try it.
Well, if you're on any kind of medications for anxiety or depression, bipolar...
I take Latuda and lithium.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to take it with those.
Hmm.
Now, what you could do, it will not last as long, but it would still get you, you can still get a lot of effects and stuff out of it, and you can use it without the purging and all that aspect that comes with ayahuasca is using DMT. And DMT is known as the spirit molecule. There's a really great book called DMT, the Spirit Molecule, written by Rick Strassman. Actually, my copy of it is on loan right now out to someone. I don't know if I'll be getting it back. They've had it for probably about 2 years now, so I pretty much counted it a loss, and I'm probably just going to end up ordering a new copy of it. Because there's certain books that I like to keep a copy of them in my library. I don't mind that they have it, because if they've got it or if they passed it on to someone else to read, as long as someone is getting the information out of that book, that's all I really care about. I give books away a lot. And then Strassman actually wrote a second book called DMT and the Soul of Prophecy, which talks about the Old Testament prophets, and he believes that their visions with speaking with God and some of the prophecies and visions that they saw and talked about were actually because of their use with DMT, they was able to connect into the spiritual realms and have these conversations with a higher power, with a divine being. The lithium, I mean, I would be so with the lithium. I mean, as long as there's no MAOI reactions and stuff, that's fine. It's the other medications that I'd be worried about. Yes, you got to stop any SSRIs before doing it. But the lithium doesn't have a dangerous interaction. Yeah, I'm pretty sure isn't the Latuda an SSRI, if I remember right?
I take it for anxiety and my bipolar disorder.
Yeah, I think it might be an SSRI. Can I set intention to wake up at 8 a.m., for example, that it can work? Well, that's more of just, that's not so much of what we're talking about as setting an intention with, like doing spiritual work and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can work on training your body to wake up at a certain time.
There's a rumor that right before bed, if you smack your head against your pillow however many times, like whatever hour you want to wake up. So if you want to wake up at 5 a.m., you have to smack your head against the pillar 5 times. I don't think it actually works, but it is the thing I've heard.
Puck just wants you to come back and say, I smacked my head against the pillow 8 times and it didn't work. I still woke up at 6:30 in the morning. Or I woke up, late. She just wants to hear that you smacked your head against the pillows. For a second, I thought you was going to say something else, like smack your head against the headboard or like the wall or something. I was like, okay. Just trying to knock yourself out for so long.
Another trick to try and wake up early. This won't necessarily get you to wake up at the right time, though, is basically drink a huge glass of water right before bed.
I drink a huge glass of water before bed. I'm going to wake up in about 2 hours and have to go to the bathroom.
Hey, it wakes you up, though.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's see. Was my comment above too long to go over? Vishnu, all I saw was the one about the ayahuasca. And then the last one I saw was where you said, I'll type up some thoughts, give me a minute. Vishnu, are you part of the ONAC? Not that it matters, it's just a question I have. You talked about using ayahuasca, and I was just wondering. Yeah, did you go through Peaceful Mountain Way for your ayahuasca experience? What do you think of the music, Puck?
I haven't been listening to the music. I'm sorry.
Oh, you probably can't hear it because you're listening through the Discord.
Yes.
I should have played it through Fredbot through the Discord so you could have heard it as well. Okay, let's see. So yeah, you went through the Peaceful Mountain Way for your... it is not coming up, and it's not coming up that it has been blocked or anything either. It could be due to length, so maybe try to break it down into shorter...
Maybe... Wait, are you in the Discord?
Oh, are they posting it ever into Discord?
No, I'm asking if they are in the Discord.
Oh yeah, if they're in the Discord, they can post it over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I do think there is a I do think there's a length on how much you can go into, and like normally I would see, like if it was being blocked because of wording or something, myself and Puck would see it. It would, it would give us a mod breakdown that it was being blocked for one reason or another, and I don't see anywhere where it's saying any kind of information is being blocked. I'm actually just going to pop over in the mod view and see if it's saying anything over here about anything being blocked. Yeah, no, it's got to be being blocked because of length, because I'm not seeing it anywhere else. Let's see. Is there divine power in music? Well, I yes and no. It is the frequencies and the vibrations in the music that would give it its real power and energy, and depending at what frequencies that it is being played at. A lot of modern music is played. It did not, Vishnu. I posted a link there to the Discord. If you want to post what you're saying into the Discord channel, then I can take a look at it and I can actually just read what you put in there. Or Puck can read it, one of the two of us. And then we can answer it. Or just read it, because I know we kind of talked about it and you said this is your views on it. Yeah. So yeah, if you join the Discord and you just type it in there, we'll be able to see it there, and we'll be able to deal with it. Because for some reason, it's not coming through, and I really do want to know what you've got to say. I keep leaning forward and like sliding down off the chair. Hmm. But yeah, Nogart, as far as divine power in music, there's a lot of examples and stuff where you look about, especially in Judeo-Christian scriptures, that talks about music. Other ancient scriptures talks about music being pleasing to different deities and stuff. There is a lot of power in music, but like I said before, it also will depend on the frequencies and vibrations that it's played at. A lot of modern music is played at 444 hertz, which a lot of people consider a quote-unquote dead frequency, that it doesn't necessarily have the energetic aspects behind it. Now, 432 hertz is considered a very healing frequency. And if you look into the solfeggio frequencies, they go into talking about each frequency has different things that it relates to, and some of those frequencies will connect you to a higher power. Some of them will work with healing. Some of them will help with cleansing out negativity and negative energy around you. I use solfeggio frequencies a lot when I'm doing ceremonies. I play them quite a bit.
I have the example of when there's been times when someone has dementia or Alzheimer's and you play music from their youth and suddenly all of these memories come back and like their personality comes back and they like wake up.
Yep.
Like I saw this very cool video where there was a ballerina and they played, I think it was Swan Lake, and she started sitting there in her wheelchair doing like the arm motions from the dances of her youth and stuff, and
it triggered,
it's amazing.
It triggered that memory so powerful. It was very, very powerful. Recall abilities with music and stuff. I do a lot of stuff with binaural beats. I think they work great and amazing. I am actually on March 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have a guest on named Shannon Harris, and Shannon is going to be discussing frequencies, vibrations, and healing. He is a sound healer. He works with frequencies and vibrations and healing the body. And Shannon will be on, and we'll be discussing a lot of stuff along that topic. Okay. Oh God, yeah, that definitely was being stopped because of links. Puck, can you read that, because it's going to be harder for me to pull that over onto a screen where I can see it.
Where did it get posted? I didn't see.
It's in the general and Discord.
Oh, in general. See, I was in general discussion under Breaking Reality.
Oh, that's fine. It just went into the general chat, and that's where new people come into, so that's fine.
Okay. I'll read it out loud. This is what I was trying to post in the stream chat. I used to be mainly involved in Hinduism for a year or two. In it, there's the common idea of Brahman and Atman.
Yes.
Most people who I see discussing this idea seriously typically talk about the individual's consciousness as being a fragment of the creator's consciousness, or the one consciousness. Another example on this line of thinking that I appreciated was the idea that each individual consciousness is like a file within a hard drive. Oh, that's an interesting way of thinking of it. The hard drive is the one consciousness with only virtual partitions existing to separate each individual's consciousness from the others. So anyway, I believed in all of this for years until recently, when I had a few intense solipsistic insights in quick succession. I'm also quite familiar with the concept of my consciousness working with everyone else's consciousness to create reality that you mentioned. I've really begun to question all of this. Is it ever possible to verify a consciousness separate from yours? What is the difference between being in a dream at night, seeing characters in front of you who appear to have a body, intelligence, and essentially everything you see your ego is having, and seeing people in waking reality who have all these things as well? I bring this example up because most people do not consider their dream characters to be conscious, while they consider beings in this reality to be conscious. Maybe you do not hold this view. Anyway, how can people expect the question of consciousness in others to be true in one case and false in the other when the data we're using evaluate if each situation is essentially the same? Is the belief of consciousness in others ungrounded, whether or not it is true or false belief? Wow.
That is a lot of information to cover. Okay, let me... Actually, I'll tell you what, Puck, since you read that off, do you want to go first on any of this? Do you want to put your insight into it before I do?
Well, I just never thought of each individual conscious is like a file within a hard drive. I've never heard that before. That's an interesting way of thinking it.
Hi, Summer!
Oh,
hello! You missed the going live message? It's okay, Summer. I should have messaged you. I need to start messaging you and letting you know when I go live for sure.
But as far as, so, like, what makes you tell that, like, someone in your dream isn't a consciousness? Well, that's hard to say. I mean, because some people claim that they can travel to other people's dreams and stuff, so you might actually run into someone else's consciousness, right?
I've done dream walking before, so that's not an uncommon thing for me to do, where I can actually go and enter into someone else's dreams. I've done that before. The concept of the Brahman and Atman from the Hindu beliefs, I mean, you see that same idea brought over into the idea of universal consciousness, also the Christ consciousness, where we are all part of, we're all connected together from the divine being, from God, that we all have a God mind. And that we are connected in to God as individual representations of that creator on this planet. You also hear this referred to as a universal consciousness, meaning as in, we are a conscious part of the universe. One of the phrases that I've heard that I actually like is I am the universe having a human experience. Because when you break it down, we're cosmic energy. And we're just cosmic energy having a human experience in this lifetime. As far as in the dreams, I mean, you've worked with ayahuasca. Did you meet deities, spirits, other entities while you was in your ayahuasca experience? I'll wait for a response. Nagar, I will get to your question here in just a second. Nagar, as far as your question there, what you're talking about is just doing things to distract yourself. Clicking on mundane things as a distraction. In order to stop doing that, you just gotta, like I said, you gotta consciously act to stop doing those things.
See, in my experience, if I just try and distract myself with things that are useful for my brain, you know, like if I find myself just mindlessly going through social media for like a really long time and nothing's good is coming out of it, I'll be like, well, I haven't studied my Japanese in a little while. Let's pop open Duolingo and, do a few lessons of Duolingo or whatever. You know what I mean? Or like...
Right, so instead of mindlessly walking through something, you decide to do something that's going to be more beneficial to help take care of that time and distract you from things going on.
Or lately I've been learning to play the ocarina.
There you go. Now, have you been learning how to play the actual songs from the Ocarina of Time?
I've played a very simplified version of Zelda's Lullaby, but I'm not very good. Distract yourself with silence. Oh, I do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like I do a thing. I do a thing. It's kind of like meditating, except I don't meditate. I just kind of sit there on my couch. I'm just in the quiet, and I just exist.
Puck, I think you just got a marriage proposal from Summer.
Oh.
She's a huge Zelda nerd.
Oh. I was like, what did I do?
Okay, once I get ordained, if Puck accepts this proposal. The funny thing is, I believe you both are already married, so this is going to be interesting.
I mean, you know where I stand.
Yeah, I do know where you stand. Same place I do. Hubby will share her with other girls. Darn it, I missed out on that one. What if I wear a skirt, Summer? Does that count? Or a really nice dress? Put some nice makeup on. Yeah, okay, so Vishnu, you said you had that experience with the entities on mushrooms, so okay. The reason I touched on ayahuasca is because of just the psychedelic aspect. So when you're in that state that you go into when you use psychedelics, so psilocybin, ayahuasca, peyote, San Pedro, LSD, whatever it is, when you have an interaction with entities there, they have a consciousness. A lot of times they have a body. Sometimes they're disembodied. You still get a consciousness. It can be several different ways. And so I look at dreams as really no different from that. I think a lot of times in our dreams we're tapping into stuff very similar because our bodies produce DMT when we sleep, and it's believed that DMT is what causes our dreams. DMT is a psychedelic substance, one of the more powerful ones that we know of. It's just our body is not producing it in the super large amounts that we would consume it normally to go into that really, really, really deep psychedelic state throughout the day. But when we sleep, it's produced in larger quantities in our lungs and uptake through our body. And that's from the understanding I have of how of how DMT production in the body works. I could be off on that, but a lot of that comes from some of the readings and stuff that I've done on DMT. So I honestly think that our dream state is really nothing more than a naturally induced psychedelic state that our body produces the psychedelic substance that puts us into that dream state. And you're welcome, Nugget. I hope you have a good night and hope you get some good sleep. Well, I mean, you understand the concept of oneness, and so the idea that we are all of one mind, one consciousness, yet we're individuals within this experience. It would be in that same way. I mean, I think what you're trying to ask, that are you creating the consciousness of those entities in your dreams, or are those another entity outside of you that you're interacting with within your dreams? And honestly, I think it can be both, depending on the situation. I think sometimes you're connecting with someone else, and I think other times you are just connecting with a different aspect of your own subconsciousness that you're trying to work with or work through something. And I believe you do that in psychedelic states as well when you're working with them. Where what you're perceiving as a consciousness, I think, at some points is just a different aspect of your subconscious trying to communicate something to you, and it's doing it by creating this image of a entity to have a conversation with you or to deal with you in a manner that makes it easier for your conscious mind to understand. Does that answer your question?
Whoa, Twitch just flickered on me hard.
Twitch has been acting up really bad lately.
You know what's pissing me off is Twitch is like fucking up with showing who's in chat, because Josh has been streaming a lot, like trying to get affiliate, pushing for affiliate, and like it'll say he only has like 2 people in chat, and then we look in the fucking chat thing and it says he has like 5 or 6 people in chat, and I'm like, why are you broken?
Oh yeah, I see that happening all the time with Twitch. Vishnu, if that answered your question, just let me know, or if you got something else you want to go into on that, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to... we're at the 2-hour mark, and I try to keep these two right around 2 hours maximum.
And I have dinner sitting in front of me.
See, there you go. It's a perfect time to call the stream. So I just want to make sure that we answer Vishnu's question before we do so. Summer, talk to Puck about that in the Discord. That would be probably the easiest way to deal with all that. Not quite. I think it'd be quite difficult to capture the essence of my question through the limited amount of information I can share through text. Well, I tell you what, Vishnu, talk to me on the Discord, and let's maybe have you on as a guest one night, and we can have this conversation on the podcast if you would be interested. Does that sound like something that you'd be interested in? And you can contact me through the Discord, and we can set that up. Excellent. Excellent. Well, we'll do that. So I think at this point in time, Puck's got dinner. I'm at the point where we've hit the 2 hour mark. So I think we're gonna go ahead and call the stream here. What I do want to say is, first off, thank you to everyone who came out tonight and interacted. Okay. Message me on Discord and let me know who you are, because of course your name on here doesn't translate. We probably talked on Facebook, and I'm not 100% sure who you are. So just message me either there or on Facebook, whichever is easier for you. And we will discuss this. And we can get something set up, and we can have that conversation as well. Thank you so much. I enjoy doing this because it is the interaction that I get to have with you guys that I really enjoy, and also the interactions with the guests when I have guests on as well. I want to thank Puck for joining in tonight. Thank you so much, Puck.
I just want to say that I was literally laying on my couch when you were like, "Hey, get in here," and I was like, "Huh? What? Huh?"
Jumping up and running to the office.
Yep.
So I always enjoy when you jump into the streams and stuff. So Wednesday, 7 p.m. is going to be the next stream. We're going to have Melvin Nix, and we're going to be talking about what is energy. And then Friday night at 9 p.m. I'm going to be hosting, hopefully, tried it last week, it just didn't work. There was just a bunch of things that came up with different people that was involved. But I'm going to be doing a Friday night forum, and Puck, if you're ever free on a Friday night, I know you're usually busy with different things.
Yes, I'm usually very busy on Friday night.
I figured as much, because I know you mod for a lot of different people and stuff as well. And...
I do! I mod for a lot of people. It's very stressful.
So on Friday night, though, we're going to try to do the Friday night forum, which for the first roundtable discussion, we're just simply going to have the discussion of what got you started on your spiritual path. I talked a little bit about that tonight. So I will briefly go over my spiritual path, what got me started, when we do that on the forums, but there will be a handful of other people that will be there, a couple of streamers, as well as some of the guests that I have booked in are going to come in and be part of the forums as well. And I also open that up to community members and stuff too, so anyone that's in the community that is interested in being part of that, please reach out to me and let me know that you'd be interested in being part of the Friday night forum, and we'll see about getting you on there. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call the stream for the night. Thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you for all of your interactions, and I will see you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.